this meeting of the Town and Community Committee on the 17th of October, 2023. We'll start with agenda item 1, which is apologies for absence. I've received apologies from Councillor Hinton, Councillor Gavashak is substituting, and apologies from Councillor Eggleton as well. Thank you very much. I don't know what everyone's actually here. Item 2, declarations of interest. Does anybody have anything on this agenda to?
No.
Claire? No? We could do it. Thank you. Now, item 3, public participation. We have 2 members of the public here.
No,
See you. Would either of you like to speak? No? Just observing the fun. Thank you very much. Okay, so item 4 is minutes to approve. Well, let's first approve the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on the 5th of September. Anybody have any questions, comments, corrections? I see none, so
Could I make a comment about the item 37, which relates to the EPCs? EPCs have been dropped for domestic premises, but have not been dropped, as far as we know, and I've spoken to a London lawyer,
okay.
which actually suggests that they are still likely to be in place. So I'm working with the town centre manager to communicate to leaseholders, leasing companies.
Is the 7-year payback rule in effect for properties?
And also for if it's a listed building.
It also applies to listed buildings, right?
No, listed buildings are exempt.
Okay, thank you.
But actually, if you take the current rule, which is an EPC of E, there are 13 properties, 13% of the properties that I've researched that are already under E.
Okay. So thank you for the update on that. There's no actual corrections to this minute, though, is there?
Not as such.
Thank you. Okay, brilliant. Anybody else? Okay. So now considering the minutes of the Henley and Bloom subcommittee meeting held on 26th of September. Any comments, corrections? None. Okay. To note the minutes of the meeting of the events subcommittee held on the 10th of October 2023. Any comments, corrections on that one?
They weren't present. They weren't included in the documents sent out.
Sorry, what was included?
The
the Bloom, yes, the Bloom. Events is there, Bloom is not. Bloom is just being distributed.
The copy here, I think, Sonny.
The Bloom is there.
Thanks.
Okay, so the only one we actually have to vote for is the Town and Community minutes. So all those in favour? Very much. Right, item 5 is the Communications Manager update. She's not with us tonight, but has everyone had a chance to look through that? Any comments, corrections? Not corrections, but comments. I note the says in here that the Visit Henley website is imminent. Launch of that, and also that she has started the monthly newsletters for this month, which is great. That's a fun.
I'm pleased to see we've had some more wedding bookings, and I'd like to know more about the discussion with the Relay Green Room about what our plans are to join forces, so that it puts there, and also to understand what the impact is of, mainly on the grounds of we're looking at next year's budget cycle. It would be good to understand if we're now expecting something different.
Cool. Okay. Maybe have a chat with Daisy. Councillor Hoskins.
2 questions. First of all, I think what the communication manager put forward is great. But how is this publicised to the public as a whole? And should there be a communication section on the website, if there's not one already, which actually highlights these things. And lastly, in terms of the first issue of the newsletter, which I received and I also think was good, how does the public know about it?
Jeremy?
Yes, so to understand your first question is how do we communicate? the
All this amount of
communications?
detail, which is very good, and it says that the council has been very active.
Mhm.
But how did the public know about it?
Probably through the communications on each of the different items.
Should we actually put something together which highlights all of these items as on the website?
Well, then
This technically is on the website already, isn't it? Because it's part of the agenda for tonight.
That is a separate item, and equally, how did the public find out about the newsletter?
So-
I was just going to say, it's been widely publicised on social media that it's a new thing that's happening. It's also on the I believe it's on the Henley Town Council website where you can sign up to it. It's very much something we need people to sign up to, and we already have a kind of a base of people who have done that and who have agreed to be added to the newsletter. So it's just a case of the more we do, the more people will find out about it. We publicise it well with social media, especially, and on the.
Should we therefore put something in Henley Standard, Henley Herald, to say this is available?
I imagine it probably has been already. They pretty much cut and paste everything we should do, so.
I don't know about whether or not it's being mentioned directly to the Henley Standard or Henley Herald. However, for example, when we did the consultation for the adventure playground, then there was a question there, would you like to be added to our mailing list to find out more? And so I think it's just incorporating it more into our other communications as well. But as Paul says, as the message gets out more and people find out about it, they'll be forwarding it to other people and they will be signing up, and so we can see how it grows from there. But we will make sure that any opportunity to publicise it, we will be.
We don't have any sign-ups for Pet so far, do we?
Well, I did a survey and had about 200 people who agreed to have their information added to the newsletter. So we've got at least 200, and then we've had probably the same amount again already. I would imagine, but we can get an exact number, and we watch it grow.
It's pretty high, a very good start.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, sorry. Okay.
Really great to read about the local media coverage. I'd love to know what you shared on BBC Berkshire. Is there a link that can go around, or did I miss the link?
Oh, BBC Radio Berkshire, that was around the Kenton. It was a piece they were doing around the Henley players, and the applications that they've been making for grants and yes, about the Kenton loan as well. It was a very, very short 3 minute.
But it sounds like that could be an opportunity to promote all the great things that we're doing. Like another opportunity is through the radio. That's
Awesome.
Thank you. Agenda item 4 is the town centre manager update. He is here. Are there any comments or questions? I noticed that the headline here, surely the massive amount of sponsorship you've got for the Christmas fair. That's incredible, up from 2,000 last year to 26,000 this year. Because
Yeah, so, well
at
done.
that kind of rate, we won't need to subsidise that event at all.
That's
That's the intention system, which will be brilliant.
As part of that, I'd like to, if possible, I'd like to thanks. So one of our former information centre officers who left towards the end of last year and has been providing a bit of cover. She came, she rejoined us very part-time back in May to work on Christmas and the sponsorship. And yes, she's been doing a fantastic job in bringing it all together as well, along with Paul and Daisy.
It's been a big team effort to establish it, and hopefully going forward it will be easier once we've established the format and everything. So
That's excellent. We definitely seem to be heading in the right direction. And I notice also that we've got the real Father Christmas here next year, not the fake one that appears in other towns. So that's great. King's Arms Farm,
I booked him in January.
thank
so,
you. Got in early.
We hibernate still.
Councillor Hoskins.
Pleased to hear the item about the ATM. What about the banking hub?
No progress on the banking hub in terms of, well, we won't get getting the banking hub anytime soon because there's no, because of the nationwide and the, whilst the nationwide is still here, they've said that there will not be banking hub because of competition, basically. So until we have no banking, we can't have a banking hub. This is the conundrum. But Link, I think I mentioned this last meeting, Link have identified the need for improved business banking facilities. And the last correspondence was that they would be coming back to us as to what that looks like. Part of that is that the post office, the new guys running the post office have been applying to the post office group to be part of that. They haven't heard anything from the post office yet. And I sent an email to Link today, just say, can we have an update? So probably by next meeting, we'll have a little bit more.
Yes, we had this ATM meeting, it's great, and afterwards I was seeing a lot of the members in the afternoon for bingo, and during the bingo break, I explained a little bit about the ATM. Just wondering what their reaction would be, and everybody was positive. There was no issues there at all. They thought it was a great idea, which I was really pleased to hear. So I relayed that back to Paul. I went into the post office because the machine at Sainsbury's wasn't giving out any money, so I go to the post office and get some money out of there. And I say, how is it here for you? Now there's no bank statement. It's horrendous.
Yes, still me that as well.
Horrendous. And she said they don't fill it up here because it costs them money. So Sainsbury's don't fill it up as much as they should because it costs them money. And then you have to, if you want to get money out of the petrol station, it costs you. So you have to go to Tesco's or up to the top shops. So it's really, really dire. Yeah, it really is.
That is definitely the most acute need. So the fact that we are actively looking at somewhere to put an ATM, I think is quite important.
Good.
Councillor Gavin.
Paul, just for my information, who is it that's saying we can't have a banking hub
Link,
without nationwide?
Link of the people, yeah.
Link,
Sharon had the initial conversation.
That was the report that I submitted to this committee back in January. That was the final conversation that I had with a senior manager at Link, who was dealing with the investigation in Denley in particular.
It's stupid.
Who is Link?
Wait for everything to be
Link
gone
is the-
before we fix it.
It's a
Government.
organisation, association of
All banks.
banks, yeah, they kind of.
Who are being as helpful as they can.
Councillor Candida.
So I'm aware that at the D2 Centre, there is a Barclays drop-in. So I just wondered, in terms of what the ask was, how can we turn it around slightly so that we're asking to help people with some of their banking needs? Like if the question was, can we install a Link machine or whatever it was, versus we've got a number of local residents who find it hard to travel, perhaps to Reading. What other services can we provide to help people answer some of their questions? They might not be, au fait with internet banking. Just how do we generally help our local residents with the acute need? Getting money out is a real problem, but also just day-to-day banking.
Well, I think
Mm.
Given the fact that D2 has a Barclays drop-in centre.
I assume that's only for Barclays customers.
It
though.
is.
It isn't actually. No, I printed mine. Her son got really helpful advice from there. Yeah, of course, you can't pay money in, you can't get money out.
Yeah.
But if you've got a query with your bank,
Yeah.
they'll help you sort it out.
So actually, so when, so in terms of day-to-day banking, their drop-in thing isn't doing anything.
Day-to-day banking,
Putting checks, getting out cash,
no, it's not that sort of banking service.
It's
It's
advice.
that's
advice,
just
I
advice.
suppose,
See,
yeah.
that's what we imagine the banking hub would be, somewhere people could actually go to pay in money.
Yeah,
And I see that, is that what you're referring to?
It is whatever, because I was there today at D2, there's a Barclays sign, they have a room set aside upstairs. And people from Barclays Bank sit in the room and they see customers.
Yeah.
I don't think it doesn't have to just be Barclays, I think. it's-
I don't know,
Mm.
but I'm just saying,
I
in
can't
terms of
believe everybody's
the-
just Barclays, no, I
no,
think
no,
it's
for
general.
some people,
Mm.
they go there for help from Barclays.
I'll check with my friend,
So-
but I don't think her son was particularly Barclays, he just had a query, I had
Yeah.
a standing order query or something like that.
But
and they sorted
regardless,
it out.
that's what I'm saying, what is the service that we want to provide? What do we mean by a banking hub? And how do we adapt it to a way that it won't be, you know, what Link is saying, that you can't have it?
I'll tell you what I want. In the Midland Bank, I want a position where Nationwide, NatWest, Halifax, Midland Bank, Lloyds and Barclays are all in that building.
Mm.
And you go up to a customer and you can pay from whatever the bank, take money out because the software there just sorts it out. Oh, you're a NatWest customer. Okay, onto the NatWest. Oh, you're a Barclays customer. There you go. So it's stupid that in fact Link are saying that we can't have a bank for 5 banks that are closed because Nationwide is still here. It's absolutely insane. And our local MP should be jumping all over this.
You should. Mm.
So that's what I want. I want
That's a
full
likely-
banking services, put in one building.
I think, well, obviously this is a national problem. This is not,
Yeah.
we're not the only town, it's every town that's suffering this. And I think what Stefan's outlining there is where we're going to get to. They just haven't got there yet, and it's not coming quick enough for everyone, and you know everyone feels the same. But I think eventually that is the obvious thing, isn't it? Pull the resources, one building, everyone goes and gets their money and it's happy. But I just think it's just a little way off, and we've just got to go through the process of getting there. Which is,
They'll only do it
That's
with
all it
kicking
is.
and screaming,
Yes, I
won't
think
they,
so,
when there's pressure.
Yeah, that's
From the
right.
government.
Well, we'll have to keep
To do it,
applying that
keep the
pressure.
pressure, exactly.
As we do. But we can at least look into providing ATMs, and that is the most urgent
Yeah.
need. Whenever we have an event in town, we hear people talking about,
Yes.
there's no cash anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare, so that is the most acute problem, because the cash machine is empty immediately. That's all.
if the Barclays service is open to everyone, should it be publicised?
It is.
Well, no,
What's it
the
actually
fact is
do
open
if
to
it
everyone.
doesn't allow you to do banking though.
No, they can't, their own advice, that. all
Yeah,
it's just
parents
advice.
Advice, yeah, they can't do money, take money, give money,
Yeah.
just advise you
But
on where
For
to
people
go.
who are Lloyds or
Hmm.
NatWest, should it be publicised? That's what I'm saying. If it is actually open to everyone.
Yeah. Let's find out. Councillor Weston.
Councillor Gobshag was talking about what we want to see
Yeah.
of our end, but we shouldn't forget about commercial business banking accounts as well. At the
Yeah.
moment, there's no business banking facilities at all
Yes.
in Henley.
Nationwide is great.
Nationwide does not do business accounts, and therefore we want to see, as well as personal banking facilities, we want to see business banking facilities.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Thank you. Any more on banking or the report in general? Okay. Right, we move on then to item 7, which is finances, to consider the management accounts on page 15. Shelley.
The eagle-eyed amongst you will have seen that it says management accounts to end of May 23. These, I'm happy to say, are not the latest management account. We do have management accounts to the end of August. So it looks like the wrong page has been inserted there.
It's the page of law, reference the header.
No, so it's the content of it is not correct.
Right.
So the I will ensure that the latest ones, the entire management accounts, the latest set of management accounts, including all income graphs and everything, will be sent out with the FSM agenda, which will be going out in 2 weeks, time, if you can wait till then. If you're desperate to see it before then, I'm very happy to send out the latest version in advance.
Does that explain why the accounts have forecasts, year-end forecasts, which is different subsequently, quite different to what's in the budget?
Indeed, that management account, so that's from the NMA, so that was a long time ago. It's simply the wrong file that's evidently been put into the agenda.
But the content of the actual report regarding the increase of prices for the markets and various other things, that's all correct, isn't it?
So that is the next item. So item 7, the fact that the management
I see.
and the management accounts and budget, you look very similar. So the management accounts on page 15, they are the out-of-date ones.
Well, let's just, I suppose we just skip item 7, I think, because we don't have it.
Yeah, but I'm very happy to, if the members would like, I'll be very happy to, I can email out the latest version to everybody if they would like.
Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah.
Thanks. Will do.
So item 8 then, which is the budget, we don't have the figures for. On page 17. And then the report.
And I assume the year-end forecast is the correct one.
Yes, indeed.
Just quickly, compared to the finance, the management accounts that we've provided, there doesn't appear to be any management market expenses in markets and events. I don't know why. It is in the previous page. Marketing and the Christmas festivities. There are no market expenses.
So the income for which is shown on the budget, so that is so I believe that's the net income.
Oh, right. It's not what it says, but that's fair enough.
That's fair spot, Tony.
I think I do need to double check that.
But we can trust the numbers in the report, can't we?
Yes.
Okay.
But in the report, so as we have, I've looked at the increase in the market pool fee, that seems sensible.
I have a question on that, which is why is the variation? If you look at it,
I was getting onto that.
Okay.
Why the variation thing? So if the single is 30, triple,
it's 11.1% single,
yes.
down to 9.1% for triple. Is there a reason? Is there a rationale?
I just think they feel like the right figures. They're not too high, not too low, and you have to make the figures feel right to the people that are paying for them. So they're in a range of increases depending on the size of the units, rather than just arbitrarily going, 5% or 10% on each one. These felt like the right figures.
Okay.
No, the double and triple stalls based upon a similar figure. So you maybe
Yeah.
have to put the 17 horsepower for a single pitch is a market standard. Is that the same against the double?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, it seems the increases are, they themselves make sense, even if the originating numbers don't. I mean, the single is going up by £3, the double by £4 and triple by £5.
Also, are these increases for another 4 years as it's been since the last increase, or are they going to be
I think that feels like a good enough period in terms
So
of.
we're particularly with the high period of inflation, but that means that our net rate is effectively dropping quite a bit.
The proposal is that this is for the 24-25 year, and it would still be an annual review, not necessarily an annual increase, but certainly an annual review.
Okay, that's fine.
Are we still happy with 3.6B, the PCSO?
Yes, I was going to make a comment on that.
I was going to point out first of all that although we half fund a PCSO, that's match funded by Thames Valley Police, and therefore we get a whole PCSO for our payment of a half PCSO. So it's slightly better value than it looks there. Yeah, I was going to comment on 36A as well. But,
Go ahead.
on 36A,
Yeah.
I was going to check that firstly, the CCTV replacements are met by SODC apart from the Mill Meadows cameras, which we fund entirely, as I understand it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And when are they next due to be replaced? What sort of cost is that? And should we assign a fund for that? I can't remember how significant it is.
So the capital
cost, Jim.
as I said, the capital cost for the replacement of the of cameras is met by SODC.
Apart from Mill Meadows, we had to fund.
Oh, and Mill Meadows was they were updated. It was either last year or the year before.
Okay,
It's very
it's recent to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew the big talk of it. I couldn't remember whether it was actually done.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And
I'm done now.
all are separate, aren't they?
At Runner Hall, at Adventure of and Town Hall are separate. Yes.
Right. Good.
Okay, right.
Councillor Hunt.
Yes, on the PCSO, I would be interested to hear reports from our local police team on how this is helping solve, particularly given the recent antisocial behaviour in and around town. Thinking of the Tesco's car parking, and also various bits of vandalism and attempted boat thefts that happened in the last 2 weeks.
So although we contribute to part of PCSO, we don't get any say over where they are. They aren't necessarily in Henley, which is why it sometimes causes friction.
That's
So Thames Valley Police decide where they go, is that right, Sharon?
Yes, indeed. They aren't necessarily deployed entirely to Henley.
Can we find out how much they are deployed to Henley? Because if it's less than half, then we are effectively and subsidising wherever they are rather than funding them here.
Yeah, no, sorry.
So we do receive regular reports from the police, sometimes more regular than other times. And they are and councils are able to ask questions at that point. So I believe police are probably going to be invited to attend probably the next TNC meeting.
Yeah.
I think so. And so that would be a good time for questions to be raised regarding the deployment of the PCSO.
Thank you.
They do come to this committee about 2 or 3 times a year, I would say. Give us a sort of report.
Hopefully just after the gas.
Yeah, so they probably are due another one, so we can invite them to the next one. Okay. Any other comments on the budget report? Councillor Kandaya?
Can I ask a quick question about 3.3?
Yeah.
Sorry, going back to the so really great that there has been a good amount raised from local businesses and sponsorship. Could you just outline what the money is covering? And if, because I think I was reading that there was a budget for it, and it looks like you've exceeded the budget. How will that extra money be spent?
Are you open to answer that?
Sharon's best answer to that one.
With the previous year's experience, yeah. So usually the council's support of 12,000 towards it will mean that it will at least break even. Some years it has made slight surplus, some years a slight loss. One of the increases will be the increase in the so included within that is the cost of the contract for the Christmas lights. So not the capital improvements to it, which have been funded separately. But one increase this year will be for the small Christmas trees, which the town council is paying for rather than businesses. So that will be one increase, which the sponsorship will go to cover. So that's one of the main ones. There are I suppose other improvements, kind of looking at improving the festival in general and the offer for that. There aren't any major changes though, so a lot of this will go to helping to reduce the council's subsidy for the event so that we can use that money elsewhere.
Thank you.
Can I
Yep.
follow up?
Carry on, yeah.
So I understand from the events subcommittee reports that there is an increased awareness and a ban on single-use plastics as a result of the policy that the stallholders who wish to have a Christmas here in Henley have to adhere by. Got a question around, well, how will we be moderating that or monitoring that or enforcing that? Will there be a cost associated, as well as just how to deal with waste? Like, we want to be helping the stallholders to be more mindful of what waste they put in the litter and recycling and stuff like that. So
I suppose this is more of a question to the chair. It's getting slightly beyond the remit of talking about it as a budget. This would probably be more of a discussion for the events subcommittee. It's going slightly beyond.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
agenda item.
I know that when I was at the events meeting, and for example, one thing that came up was that we're not allowing generators, for example. So they show up and have a generator, they'll be turned away. So you are taking steps in that direction.
but it relates to a budget question, because if we're putting something into place, how do you then monitor it and enforce it unless there is somebody on the ground actually going around and checking?
In the events committee, it actually, it should be in the minutes, it's specified that there's going to need to be more monitoring, which will involve, I suggest, both staff, but also councillors.
Okay, so there's no cost to it, is what you're saying.
Well, that's what was discussed at the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And it's minuted as well.
Yeah.
Marshals to check that vendors have correct generators and no single-use plastic.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just not clear if the marshals are being paid for or if they're volunteers.
It's a mix of both. Usually it's staff and volunteers. The staff will be getting paid over time, I guess, and volunteers will be not.
Thanks.
Okay, so.
Sorry, just a quick one, and it may well be quite rightly say we'll go and talk to the events committee. The Christmas trees for businesses are being paid by the council. Does that mean that we're going to get Christmas trees on every single business in Henley? Because it would be wonderful if we did.
Really, wherever we install the bracket. Go ahead.
And so basically we went out to businesses on Half Street, Bell Street, Marketplace and Duke Street, and basically asked who would be happy to have a rack on their building. We basically identified about 140 businesses that were happy to do so. Last year, I think it was about 40 in total on those streets. So it's a large increase.
Wow.
So they will all, so there'll be 140. We got a discount on the cost of the trees because of the number that we were ordering. So there'll be 140. Plus any outside of the town centre. We're not in-house doing our own Christmas tree scheme where people can order through us. But what we've done is we've sent out a letter to everybody who's had a small Christmas tree in the past and basically said, if you're interested, then Window Flowers is operating their own scheme for a fixed fee, basically. And so we're putting them in touch directly with Window Flowers so they can order a small Christmas tree. So we'll have at least 140. And if people outside the town centre are also ordering, then that will increase it further.
Perfect.
Marvelous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll move on now. All those, well, recommendation 5.1, it's recommended that the committee resolves to note the draft budget figures. It is also recommended that the committee resolves that the market steel rates be increased as per the recommendations of the report to take effect from 1st of April 2024. Previous proposal second?
Yeah.
Proposer is me, seconder is Councillor Hoskins. All those in favour? Thank you. Perfect. Item 9 is the Townlands Hospital to re-establish the Townlands Steering Group to investigate and recommend a response to the proposed closure step down beds at the hospital. The terms of reference are on page 21. I missed that. Sorry, I was the town clerk. He had a copy.
I missed that as well.
So, anybody have any comments, questions?
Can I speak to this?
Yeah.
So, a few weeks ago, the GP's surgeries became aware of the proposed closure of the 7 step-down beds, which are currently leased by the Intermediate Care Board, which has replaced the Clinical Commissioning Group from the Chiltern Court Care Home that's on the town site as well. Both beds were originally provided as a replacement service for the Peppard ward, which when the replacement Townlands Hospital reopened in 2016 was not re-provided. We lost our Peppard ward, and those 7 beds were to replace that, and they're step-down beds, so they are used primarily for people who've been in, say, the Royal Berks or John Radcliffe, don't need an acute bed anymore, but do need their further care. They're not quite ready to go home or into wherever they are going to end up. And those beds, as I've understood it, for the years since then, have been well used. So when the GPs were told about this, and the GPs contacted both Councillor Gavashak and myself, we were concerned, and we arranged a meeting, or we asked for a meeting with the Intermediate Care Board, and they originally proposed having a meeting with us in November. We pressed them, and they did meet with us on the 6th of Friday, the 6th of October. They were very frank and open about us, and they were very, very helpful. And we had what in many ways was a good meeting, but they were very clear that they wanted to close the beds at the end of this year. But they conceded that what had happened with the public engagements had been, in their words, less than ideal. Well, it's actually been non-existent, and that's very unfortunate because there is a great deal of concern amongst the clinicians in the community about the dropping of this service. So they agreed that they would engage with us, but also the community more widely. And they would provide information to Councillor Gavashak and myself regarding the evidence that there are alternative pathways available. So the patients who currently use those 7 beds will have care that is at least as good. And they also undertook to engage with the community to explain further. We're waiting for the full information that they promised us, but I did receive, both Councillor Gavashak and I did receive a 3-page paper today, which explained the strategy that they're adopting, which is to move away from embedded units and more to care at home. I don't think it explained their strategy clearly enough, but it didn't explain have much in the way of supporting evidence. And I very much hope that they will be able to provide more in the future. However, we do need to make sure as a community that we carefully scrutinise what it is that they're doing, the evidence behind it, and the way in which patients will continue to have their needs met. And so, as a result, I propose that the Townlands Steering Group is reformed. It's not been formed. It previously has reported to this committee, and it's not been reformed since I think 2022. And so I propose that it is reformed at this meeting using the terms of reference that are dated June 21. I think there is a slightly reformatted one, but I think we're best off working with this one for now. And the Townlands Steering Group itself can propose bringing up to date the wording in it, but I think as far as I can see, it looks fine for the purposes of where we are now. So I therefore propose that, and I'll propose membership of the town steering group separately. But at the moment, I propose that it's reformed under the terms of reference as in the agenda. I submit.
Yep, councillor Hunt, second. Councillor Cambridgeshire?
Can I suggest an amendment? I'm sorry, and I haven't, I've only just spotted this, that it's 4.1, the chairman of the group shall be elected at the first meeting of the group. I thought we could change that the chairman of the group was elected by this committee.
I don't feel strongly. There are arguments either way, when I think we've done both in the past.
Well, I think that you have, well, I have to a minor extent, you have taken the lead on this particular item. So therefore, I would like that amended to the chairman of the group shall be elected at town and community. And I will, if that's accepted, I will, if the terms of reference are accepted, then I will propose Councillor Riceman as chair.
I'm happy to accept that.
Councillor Thomas, thank you. All those in favour? It's carried, thank you. Do you want to propose?
Yes, I'd like to propose Councillor Riceman as chair of the town and steering group.
Okay, I'll second that from the chair. All those in favour?
Well, dear.
Any nomination? Any other nomination?
Congratulations. Back home.
Okay.
Ian, what reasons did they give you for this change?
I have got some notes here. Let me go through them. So the justification is that they are moving away from embedded care, inpatient bedded care to care at home, virtual wards and so on. That's one trend that they're reflecting. They also claim that at the county council, one of our main concerns 3 or 4 years ago was the difficulty of obtaining home care packages from the county council's adult social care system. They claim that system is now working much better and that they have considerably expanded the capacity of the adult social care of the county council, and they claim that they have a much better story that's widely admired across the country in Oxfordshire. That's what they say. And I'm not saying I don't believe them, but it's up to them to make the case that is true, and to demonstrate that people aren't waiting 10 days or more, and that people aren't waiting in Royal Berks when they could be discharged and should be discharged to home, but can't be because there aren't adult social care package. And that happened a lot in a few years ago. But they have re-provided their home care service, the county council, and they say there's a 19% increase in the hours of care that are provided since that happened. So they have what they describe as a transfer of care hub, which manages the care pathway, so people have a route of being transferred from an acute bed, say, back into either home care or to a care home. The GPs haven't heard of that we spoke to, so it'd be interesting to find out what that committee does. But that reports to the intermediate integrated care board, and again we need to find out how that operates, and we need to find out how successful it is, whether there are delayed transfers of care from places like the Royal Berks, or whether or not people now are able to go home quickly and straightforwardly as soon as they're able, which is the basis of their argument. That I think is going to be their argument. So I'm still reading the paper. I had a very quick
Those
scan
7
of it.
beds that have been freed up and then available for
Well, that's interesting you asked
long-term
that.
care, is it?
Because
£2,000 a week, yeah.
when it first came to light that these 7 beds were being closed, the intermediate, sorry, I keep calling intermediate, because the intermediate care beds is the same acronym. The integrated care board is their press office said they're not being closed, the beds, because the beds are being kept reopened, but they are, the service in which they are step down beds is being discontinued. That's the plan. But the beds, of course, will revert to the care home and the Order of St John, and they'll be available as care beds, which again are much needed. But to say the beds aren't closing is somewhat disingenuous.
It's all about money then, isn't it? It is
Well,
all about money.
we can't tell at this point. I mean, obviously, that's the suspicion, is they're trying to reduce costs by having people cared for at home, which is cheaper than acute bed.
And they can have
and
those
it's-
beds to 2,000, that's what it is.
Yes.
£2,000 a week, so they, so it's £14,000
Yes.
a week they're earning, at some
Yeah.
place up there, yeah,
Well, I mean, I remember they didn't want those beds at all and used the same argument last time.
yeah.
Well, yes, that's right.
But anyway, we'll go councillor
Yeah,
Gash.
just very quickly, the other three things that are quite shocking about this is that I as county councillor wasn't consulted,
Mm.
and these beds are being funded by Oxfordshire County Council
Mhm.
in partnership with the Integrated Care Board. The GPs have had no consultation at all.
Mm.
None at all, even though they actually provide the supervisory service for children care home beds.
Yeah.
And thirdly, they allege that Royal Berkshire Hospital have been consulted. There is no evidence in this paper that they have at all.
Mm.
And we
It's
press them
unilateral
on that.
register.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So we've got to pursue this
Mm.
and actually really find out
Mm.
what the real story is behind it. And my view would be, if they can provide the evidence, then why go from 7 to none?
Mm.
Why not a staging process if they have provided the evidence? In other words, 7 to 5 to
Mm.
3. But give us the evidence. That's the important thing.
But it is part of a county-wide strategy to reduce what they call hub beds. Currently, there are 96. They want to go down to 45. Now, how they reach that number of 45 and how they are confident that
Why are they closing all our beds then?
well, yes, and of course the danger is, I think Stefan knows this one better than I do. If people in Henley or near Henley, in the catchment area of this have that need, they'll have to go, I think, out of South Oxfordshire, won't they? Is that right? Is that the nearest?
Abingdon.
Yes, I have
Abingdon.
an
And
example.
that's a long way away.
It's a long
That's
way.
40 minutes. So we are. It's hard to see how that represents either the same or an improved level of service. So there is genuine concern, and it is. We should be. We need a massive urgency to deal with the proposal, respond to it, and make sure that that the ICB officers do come and explain to the community what they're doing, why, and what will happen to people who need the service.
I'm sorry, but somebody coming out of hospital, going home, they just have a carer pops in the morning, gives them breakfast for half an hour, and maybe changes their nappy or something. If they're lucky, someone might pop in for half an hour at lunchtime and pop in at 6 o'clock in the evening to put them to bed. That is entirely different.
Yeah.
Entirely different.
It does not meet the needs
No.
of all those who use the beds, I believe, or it will take some convincing.
Yeah.
However, we have to argue from patient point of evidence, and they have to make the case that the patient's needs are being met, and that they haven't begun to do so. Well, they have begun as a result of us contacting them, but the GPs have just simply been told that that service is being stopped, and they are very concerned. And I trust the GPs.
I'm sure
The
they
GPs are, and so do the community. And rightly, the GPs are much more connected to the community than any other part of the NHS, even though technically they're not part of the NHS.
Should the GPs be specified as part of members of the group?
I'd like to go and talk to them about that. It is. We expect the Town Steering Group to work very closely with the GPs and other clinicians, but they generally prefer not to do so in a public way. Unfortunately, it can cause professional difficulties if they appear to criticise the NHS, and so we usually deal with them on a confidential basis. So I'm happy to refer to them as GPs, but not name them. But the GPs are saying I trust them, and I look forward to hearing their views and be guided by them very largely on whether or not patients are having their needs met.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so if we establish the town steering group, congratulations, Chair.
Thank you very much. But the makeup of the it's not just going to be me. No, just to not chair yourself. So the makeup in terms of reference are there 4 town councillors, 1 South Oxfordshire District Council, 1 county councillor, 1 member of Parliament, 1 representative from the League of Friends, 6 from the Ryder community, and 1 from each of the surrounding parishes, which is about 25. But we never got all 25. So,
which county council would you like to propose?
So I'd like to propose Councillor Gavishak as the county councillor, and that remains. So Councillor Arlett and Councillor Hinton are then available as district councillors, and I suggest we allow those 2 to choose between them.
Yeah.
The member of Parliament, it can be very useful to have the member of Parliament there, both to provide information but also to feed back to the higher levels of the NHS. So I very much hope that our member of Parliament will contribute. We'll have to invite a member of the League of Friends. And for the wider community, I'd like to propose, I've lost my other piece of paper. I'd like to propose Peter Ashby, Robert Aiken and Valerie Alacia as 3 of the 6. And the other 3 I'd welcome volunteers for, as for the other 2 town councillors. So I'd like to propose those people, and I'll provide a minute of this.
So it was those 2 plus Councillor Gavishak.
So Councillor Gavishak as the county councillor, either Councillor Arlett or Councillor Hinton as the district.
Yeah.
Myself and Councillor Hunt, who's volunteered as 2 of the 4 Henley Town councillors, and others are welcome to 2 more volunteers. And the community representatives to be Peter Ashby, Robert Aiken and Valerie Alacia.
Yeah. Okay. I'll second that from the chair. All those in favour?
Can we have, before we take the vote, can we have 2 more volunteers? We don't have to do it now.
Well, they're not all here. So
well, I know.
We should open it to the wider group. Really.
We should, yeah. I did actually communicate with all the councillors. Councillor, I think, was the only one who
I'm
came back
happy to, because I've worked for them
You-
for
yeah,
17 years,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Councillor Dodds.
And we can, if other people want to, we can allow someone else to come attend and be co-opted at the first meeting.
Other committees.
Yeah, because the constitution allows the TSG to co-opt further members.
That's fine.
Are there any other community representatives that anyone might want to suggest that we invite? But so I would like I would like to make sure that we are representative and have a good set of skills.
Janet Waters.
Janet Waters. I've tried to ask her before. She hasn't. But yeah, I would like to ask her. Janet's good. Yes.
Yeah, bumped into her on Saturday, so yes.
It was Janet who first told me about the proposed closure.
Maybe this is a good start. I don't think we
Yeah.
should appoint the rest.
Yep. Okay. So we have a proposal now.
All right. So all those in favour?
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Right. Item 10, bins. This is to consider a report on the replacement of the town centre bins. I know everyone's read this thoroughly. Yeah. Any comments?
I have a proposal.
That's all. Not about.
I propose we accept the recommendation 5.1 with the amendment that the amount be up to 30,000 to allow for additional money to be spent should it be felt necessary by those with the delegated powers to ensure that we have more attractive and suitable bins than the ones shown in the photograph.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Anyone seconded by Councillor Hoskins. All those, okay.
Sorry, just a quick comment. Congratulations to you, Chair, and Paul, for putting this together. brilliant, and it's quite right that we have bigger and better bins.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally putting this to bed after 2 years. Councillor Hoskins.
One of the issues that people outside of the town centre face is the SODC bins. And there's been a lot of comments, including from councillor Rochelle, showing the treatment, the overfilling. How do we actually get SODC to follow the same approach?
I suggest we deal with this and then we deal with that as a separate item.
Okay,
It's,
all right. So this is about the Henny Town Council owned bins. So all those in favour of recommendation 5.1 with the amendment from councillor Hunt. So thank you very much, Harry. Carry on.
Sorry, I wasn't being rude. Well, I was being rude to Tony, so I apologise. I think this should be an item for the next TNC agenda, and we should ask councillor Arles, who's taking the lead from the district council, to come along. Maybe also invite a member of SODC to come to the meeting and have a chat about the problems and issues.
Yeah, I'd say SODC have been really helpful and cooperative with the report here on the bin replacement, so I'm sure they
And
can do
just,
that.
you know, people aren't depositing their own rubbish there. The one on Depot Road is just
Yeah.
household rubbish. And how do you stop that?
Absolutely.
Very simple.
But let's have a separate debate next time, well
Exactly.
structured,
Yeah.
and see if we can tackle that.
It is worth pointing out, reminding anyone who's watching, including the media, that using the public litter bins for household waste is illegal. You are not allowed to do that, and so please don't do it. It is illegal, but it's also banned for the bins and banned from town. Please,
Fines? What is the fines?
I don't know.
Labels? £200 fine?
Is it right? Okay.
I don't know, well, that would be a good amount, wouldn't it?
No, I've seen it happen. The resident will exit their house with the rubbish, put it in the bin and go, so
Yeah.
it does happen, and it's unfortunate because it just fills up the bins. Okay, that's good. Item 11 is the walkie-talkie replacements, the provision of new walkie-talkies for the park staff. Quite a thorough report. There is a recommendation that we approve the capital expenditure of £3,395 for the purchase of 20 million.
Apologies, that should be amended, so it would be a resolve to recommend to full council. Because it's capital expenditure.
It's resolved to recommend that approval be given for the capital expenditure of £3,395 to purchase new walkie-talkies.
So you have any time for Christmas?
Thank you. I hope so. Recommend.
Well,
Well, we have to read it, well, so no, it's good.
It's-
Okay, all those in favour of new walkie-talkies? Thank you. It's carried. Item 12, it's progress. Here. Yeah, the park services to collect broken bollard from Councillor Eggleton to get it repaired. Is that actually applicable with anyone there? So that was on here last question. This is on the missing bollards, Thameside South and behind. No, we don't know.
I'll check. I think that's happened actually. It should probably go on.
Okay. Do we have any comments on any other item on progress, councillor Hoskins?
Just a question on the minutes.
Yeah.
Last time round, they were talking about YMCA for the repair cafe. Did that not proceed?
Is rugby club and scout hire being considered now? I don't know. Did anyone?
I don't remember. I think the YMCA was mentioned that they've done something that does a bike repair.
It was in the minutes.
It wasn't really a repair camp, it wasn't really the same thing. Just one thing on the repair cafes, that John, who was here earlier, works in the council, had a great idea earlier. We had Stuart Turner come to us asking if there's any projects which we could get involved in, they could get involved in the community. And his light bulb went off in his head and he said, how about Stuart Turner and the repair? It was a great idea. They've got facilities for
That's interesting.
and workbenches, you know, and then so I emailed the contacts to and asked them that question. They may say no, but I thought it was a great idea.
The other thing is, I always thought that you couldn't have the over 60 stuff because we let it out for the maths. But in fact, I'm told that the maths people leave by 10 o'clock on that Saturday morning. So if we didn't start till 10:30 or something, it's free from then on basically. So it is still an option. Yes, I mean, we do the sewing and the nice dental things there, and you could do the engineering, it's your hands, yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot more central, so.
yeah.
Okay, so we don't usually do this, but I'm going to add a little item on the end here. Anyone that was unfortunate enough to be on Bell Street yesterday would have been reminded of the ongoing sewage problems we have in Henley. Councillor Kandaya has a motion to propose just quickly, if that's okay.
Yeah, so if I could just share a little bit about the context, is that over several months this year, various Thames Water trucks and vehicles have been in situ around Henley town centre and various other places around the town, trying to fix the various issues relating to fatbergs and other sewer related problems. And these have resulted in a number of central Henley disruptions impacting traffic flow and increased pollution, idling cars and pedestrians. And this came to quite a potentially shocking and dangerous situation in mid-September, where along by the roundabout by Marlow Road, whereby the temporary traffic lights that were put in by Thames Water were not working properly. And this resulted in cars being stuck in lengthy traffic jams, more pollution, and pedestrians struggling to simply cross the road safely. And it also resulted in dangerous driving due to inconsistent road signage. In addition, just to share that in all the different places I have lived, I have never experienced so many sewer issues in one place or one town. So it kind of makes me wonder what is so wrong with what is going on with our sewer system here in Henley, because I don't think it's because we Henley residents are chucking loads of things down the drains and down the toilets, which is causing the fatbergs. I don't think we are doing anything different to any other place in England, really. So it's why is it so bad in Henley? So I would like to raise a motion that is that the committee resolve that the town clerk write to Thames Water to raise concerns regarding the disruption caused by the recent remedial work and request that greater care be taken into account of the needs of the community that are affected by their work. But I also want to add to explore why we have such significant issues with the sewer situations that have been going on for the last 6 months.
Anyone like to say?
I'd second that motion.
Councillor Gavin.
Can I just add one thing and request a meeting?
Yes.
And request a meeting.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Second. Brilliant. All those in favour? Thank you very much.
I was just going to say that I know you said you haven't lived anywhere like this before. I don't think it's been like this in Henley before. This is a uniquely bad year. Whether it's unlucky or the climate or Thames Water have just got worse, I don't know. But I don't remember a year like this before, with repeated problems with sewers. Occasional problems, yes, but it seems to be a continual set of problems, one after the other. Well, it's lack of maintenance, in my opinion, but without knowing the fact.